Did you know that cats can form an incredibly deep bond with their human companions, one that goes beyond just seeing you as the person who provides their meals? It turns out there are 24 science-backed signs that your feline friend views you as more than just a friendly roommate. They see you as their genuine best buddy. Dive into these signs to discover just how special your relationship with your cat really is. Sign 1. Have you ever seen your cat sitting with their mouth open, almost like they're taking a deep breath? What they're actually doing is sniffing the air, a behavior known as the phlegm response. This quirky action involves a special organ on the roof of their mouth called the vomeronasole or Jacobson's organ, which works as an extra-sensitive nose. It helps them pick up and analyze scents, especially those of other cats. Cats are incredibly tuned in to smells and use them to gather loads of information about each other. So if you catch your cat doing the phlegm response while you're around, consider it their way of getting to know you better. After all, when it comes to best friends, there are no secrets. Sign 2. When your cat spots you and immediately flops onto their back, exposing their belly in that irresistible, fluffy way, it can seem like an open invitation for a tummy rub. But if you've tried to give them that belly rub and ended up with a playful swipe or a swipe of claws, you might have felt more like a new scratching post than a best friend. Cats only show their bellies to people they truly trust, as exposing their tummy makes them vulnerable and puts their vital organs at risk. When your kitty rolls over, they're essentially saying, "I trust you so much that I'm willing to be at my most vulnerable." So while their gesture is an expression of affection, it's important to respect their personal space. Some cats find tummy touches uncomfortable or even painful, so it's best to appreciate their trust from a safe distance. Sign 3. But wait, you might be thinking, my cat actually loves tummy rubs. Does that mean everything here is just misinformation? Definitely not, though it might sound like it. The reality is, cats are pretty unique in how they respond to tummy rubs. While many cats do indeed have a strong aversion to having their bellies touched, some do grow to enjoy it, especially if they have a deep bond with their human. If your cat is one of the lucky few who welcomes belly rubs from you, it's a sign that your relationship has reached a special level of trust and affection. So if your kitty lets you get those belly rubs in, take it as a compliment. You're clearly a cherished friend. Sign 4. When your cat insists on strolling across your keyboard, blocking your TV screen, or plopping down on the book you're trying to read, it might test your patience. But don't be too quick to label their behavior as simply irritating. What's happening is known as mirroring. Essentially, your cat is trying to bond with you by mimicking your actions. Much like an enthusiastic toddler seeking attention, your cat's antics are all about connecting with you. In fact, some cat owners have found a clever workaround by giving their feline friends toy laptops or similar distractions. That way, your cat can imitate your activities without interfering with your work or leisure time. Sign 5. What about when your cat decides to invade your space even when you're not around, like lounging on your freshly cleaned laundry now covered in cat fur, swiping your favorite scrunchie, pen, or socks, only to find them snuggled in their basket? It might seem like they're just being a nuisance, but actually it's a sign of their bond with you. As we said before, cats are incredibly scent-focused. Your clothes and personal items carry your unique scent, and by claiming them, your cat is essentially trying to keep a piece of you close. It's their way of feeling connected to you, even when you're not around. Sign 6. Ever caught your cat giving you that intense, unblinking stare from across the room and wondered what's going on in their little head? It's not a challenge for a staring contest. In fact, when you finally lock eyes with them, they might respond with a slow blink, almost like they're trying to play it cool. This slow blink is actually your cat's way of saying, "I love you." It's their version of blowing you a kiss or giving you a warm hug. To show your feline friend that you feel the same way, try returning the gesture with a slow blink of your own when their gaze meets yours. Sign 7. When you're trying to decode your cat's mood, their tail can be a great clue. Generally, the position of their tail reveals a lot about how they're feeling. If your cat's tail is high up, they're likely feeling really happy and confident. On the other hand, if the tail is low and tucked underneath their belly, it usually means they're feeling anxious or scared. A tail that hangs out horizontally indicates they're relaxed and content. But if their tail is up in the air like a flagpole, it's a sign they're absolutely thrilled to see you. So if you spot that tail flagging high when you walk in, it's their way of saying, "Hey there, best friend, I'm so excited you're here." Sign 8. Bunting isn't just the name for those decorative flags you see at celebrations. It's also a sweet cat behavior that shows their affection. When your cat gently headbutts or rubs their head against you, it's called bunting. This act is their way of marking you with their scent while also picking up yours. It's kind of like exchanging friendship bracelets. Your kitty wants to create a special sign of your bond and show that they consider you an important part of their world. Sign 9. If you're curious about how interested your cat is in you, check out their whiskers. Those long, sensitive hairs can actually move. When your cat's whiskers are pulled back, they're feeling nervous or defensive, protecting them from potential harm. On the other hand, when the whiskers are pointed forward, your kitty is zeroed in on something or someone like you. If you notice those whiskers aiming right at you, it's a clear sign that your cat is really interested in interacting and engaging with you. Sign 10. You might think your cat doesn't have much of a routine beyond the one you set for them. They don't have to punch a clock or deal with morning meetings, so you might assume they just do their own thing all day. But if you pay close attention, you might notice something interesting. Your cat seems to be up and about right when you wake up and ready to settle down when you do. They're there to greet you when you come home from work and snuggle up on the couch during your evening TV time. It turns out that your cat might not have a strict schedule of their own, but they do align their activities with yours. It's their way of staying connected and making sure they're in sync with your daily rhythm. Sign 11. Kneading, often playfully referred to as making biscuits, is when your cat rhythmically presses their paws into a soft surface, much like they're kneading dough. While this might look cute, it's not always the most comfortable experience for you, especially if your cat's claws are involved. But before you start thinking your kitty is trying to turn you into a loaf of bread, there's a sweet reason behind this behavior. Kneading is a nostalgic action that harks back to their kitten days when they used to knead their mother's belly to stimulate milk flow. Even though your cat doesn't expect you to start lactating, this action is a comforting gesture that signifies how much they regard you. It's their way of showing that they see you as a cherished figure in their life, akin to how they viewed their mother. So while it might feel a bit pokey, remember that it's a heartfelt display of affection and trust from your feline friend. Sign 12. You might think you've got the whole "what noise does a cat make" thing down pat from your early years. The dog goes woof, the bird goes tweet, and the cat goes meow, right? But actually, cats have a whole repertoire of sounds that go beyond just meowing. When a cat is feeling content, they might purr. And when they're in the mood to show you just how much they care, they might trill. This trilling sound is a bit of a mix between a meow and a purr with a high-pitched, almost rolled R quality. When your cat uses this special trill around you, it's their way of saying that you're a really important friend to them. Sign 13. You know you've reached a true level of friendship when you can crash on the couch together while watching a movie and not feel mortified if you happen to doze off. Falling asleep around someone is pretty revealing. You're trusting them not to pull any pranks or spill your secrets about how loudly you snore. Now, for our feline friends, it's even more of a big deal. In the wild, cats had to stay on high alert because they were prime targets for predators like leopards and wolves. When they're awake, they're constantly scanning for danger. So, when your cat chooses to nap beside you, they're showing an immense level of trust. It's like saying, "I know I'm safe here with you. I trust you to look out for me while I catch some Z's." Sign 14. We've all had that awkward moment when your cat decides to give you a full view of their backside, tail high and proudly displaying everything they've got. It might seem like a strange way for a best friend to say hello, but there's actually a reason behind it. To us humans, this behavior might seem a bit forward, but for cats, it's a normal way to communicate. When cats meet, they often sniff each other's rear ends as a way of exchanging vital information. This nose-to-tail greeting helps them learn about each other's emotional state, health, and even their mating status. So when your kitty presents their backside to you, they're not being rude, they're offering you a glimpse into their world. It's their way of letting you in and strengthening your bond, even if we might not be able to decipher all the details. Sign 15. When your cat wants to take in your scent, they might give you a little nose boop. This adorable gesture is their way of saying hello or showing affection, kind of like a kiss between humans. Since cats don't have the lip muscles needed for a traditional kiss, they use their noses to connect with you. It's a sweet and intimate way for them to let you know they care, and it's hard to argue that it isn't one of the cutest ways they can show their love. Sign 16. If you were asked to draw a cat's eye, you might imagine sketching a dramatic yellow or green iris with a vertical slit pupil, the classic Halloween cat look. But here's a fun fact: that cat's eyes don't always have that slit shape. In bright light, their pupils shrink down, and in dim light, they expand to let in more light. This is similar to how human pupils work. However, it's not just changes in lighting that can cause your cat's pupils to dilate. When your kitty's pupils are fully expanded, it can also mean they're gazing at someone they really care about. Since cats' pupils can become quite large, it's a clear sign of their affection. If you notice your cat's eyes turning nearly black while they're looking at you, it's a pretty good indicator that you two are best buddies. Sign 17. Some cats really take the phrase "jump for joy" to heart when you come home. You might find them doing their best kangaroo impression, leaping up on their hind legs or bouncing up and down with excitement. Or maybe they'll surprise you with a playful ambush from a high shelf or countertop, just when you thought you were safe in the kitchen. So what's behind this energetic behavior? It's actually pretty simple. Your cat is thrilled to see you but might feel a bit overwhelmed by your height. In their excitement to greet their tall friend properly, they jump up or find high spots to get a better look at you. It's their way of showing just how happy they are to see you again. Sign 18. When your cat yawns while you're hanging out together, it might seem like a sign that they're bored or annoyed, maybe even that they're wishing they were napping instead. But don't worry, it's not necessarily an insult. Cats yawn for a few reasons, and while tiredness is one of them, yawning can also be a sign of extreme happiness and contentment. In fact, your kitty's yawn could be their way of showing just how relaxed and pleased they are to be spending time with you. Sign 19. Paying attention to your cat's ears can tell you a lot about their mood. Generally, when their ears are upright and alert, it means they're happy and engaged. If their ears are pulled back and flattened, it's a sign of fear or aggression. Just like with their tail, the position of their ears reflects their feelings. So the next time you're spending time with your kitty, take a glance at those ears. If they're standing tall, it's a good sign that your cat is enjoying themselves. Sign 20. When your cat does a big, dramatic stretch every time you walk into the room, you might wonder if they're subtly hinting that you should hit the gym more often. But don't worry, it's not a passive-aggressive workout reminder. This stretch, which involves extending their paws and arching their back, is actually a friendly gesture. It's known as a greeting stretch, and it's something cats do when they're really happy to see someone. So if your kitty greets you with a full body stretch, it's simply their way of showing how delighted they are to have you around. Sign 21. Friendships can definitely have their ups and downs. So when your kitty seems to take their frustration out on you by tangling themselves around your legs, it might feel like a personal vendetta. Maybe they're miffed because you didn't let them have that second breakfast, and now it seems like they're trying to trip you up. But rest assured, it's not part of some nefarious plan. When your cat rubs their face against your ankles, they're actually engaging in a behavior that's all about sharing their scent. It's their way of marking you as their own and strengthening the bond between the two of you. Sign 22. One of the more subtle ways your cat shows how they're feeling is through their posture. Essentially, how your kitty holds themselves can give you some clues about their mood. When your cat wants to grab your attention or interact with you, they often stretch their neck out and tilt their head upwards. It's a bit like when you're trying to get a tall friend's attention by looking up at them. For your cat, it's all about showing their affection and eagerness to connect, even if it means giving themselves a bit of a neck cramp in the process. Sign 23. Your kitty might not be able to hold your hand like a human friend would, but they have their own way of showing affection. When your cat rubs against you and twirls their tail around your ankles, it's their version of a warm, loving squeeze. This little gesture is a way for them to express their bond and let you know just how much they care. Sign 24. Being licked by a cat can be a bit of an odd experience. Unlike dogs, whose slobbery licks are usually just a mess, a cat's tongue is lined with tiny, spiky structures called papillae. These papillae help cats groom their fur by acting like a comb, getting rid of knots and burrs. However, when these spiky tongues touch delicate human skin, it can feel a lot like sandpaper. Despite the somewhat uncomfortable sensation, remember that grooming is a deep expression of affection for cats. They might not be the most comfortable way to show they care, but it's their way of bonding with you. So even if it's a bit scratchy, it's a sign that your cat considers you their best friend, or at least someone they care about deeply. And that's a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed it and found it helpful, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up and a subscription. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.